This conversation is not about the toxic manosphere or weak men. This conversation is about split men, men who are unintegrated men. You see, some men are hardened. They navigate their life through dominance, force, and some men, they hide in comfort and spirituality or agreeableness. And these two men may sound like opposites, but they are the same man, just split in half. One man avoids his own power. He avoids being direct and assertive and speaking in his truth. And the other man, he avoids vulnerability. He wants to stamp out his weakness and close himself off and harden to the world. I've been working with one of these as well. See, I've been trying to teach myself lately that it's okay to be direct. It's actually necessary to be more assertive, to say what I need to say, because, you know, in my life, I've often found that I've softened my language or say things like, if you like, or if it's okay, or if it's up to you. And rather than just stating what I need, stating my clean boundary. And I think that this is a problem that a lot of passive, agreeable men have. They're afraid of this confrontation or this boundary that needs to be set. But the thing about boundaries is they don't need to be emotional. They just need to embody the thing that needs to be said. It's kind of like lifting weights, right? In lifting weights, we have this thing called progressive overload. And each week we add a little bit more weight than we did last week. And we start off kind of slow and gradually we get stronger and stronger. It's putting in the reps and it's about consistency. And the same thing is true with boundaries. See, if there's something that we're afraid of, we need to go towards that thing. That is the path. That is the dragon that we don't need to slay. We need to integrate. We need to learn how to ride that dragon. So we start off small. We address something directly. We say exactly what we need. And we do it in a clean way where there's no emotional charge or tension to it. And we just gradually keep doing that over and over a period of weeks and months. And then eventually, it no longer becomes this thing that we need to fear doing. It just becomes part of who we are. It's the new baseline. You know, that's the thing about growth. It's like we're this dot in this middle of a circle, right? And the outer edge of that circle is our growth edge. It's the thing that we kind of bump up against, like a electric fence. And to get beyond that electric fence or to shut that fence down and open up into the new field, we need to master the thing that life is asking us to confront. You know, because there's a gap. There's a gap between that edge and of who we are and where we want to be. And a lot of times we don't know how to navigate that edge. And so we need to confront the thing that we're most afraid of. And by doing that, we kind of bring light to that dark area, that gap, and we learn to navigate it and we learn to be that new person. And I think the same thing goes with the hardened men. I've been there too. Like, we don't know how to open up sometimes. We don't know how to be vulnerable or be seen deeply or feel deeply. We think it's weak and we want to stamp that weakness out of us. So we push it away. But that's exactly what builds the shadow. And so we need to stop avoiding that confrontation with our other half and welcome it in, and really just try to integrate ourselves fully so that we are no longer divided within and we become wholly and fully integrated men. It's interesting because I've been doing this a lot more lately. And even just the other day, I went to Home Depot and I was getting some wood for a tortoise enclosure that I'm building in my backyard. And I asked the guy, hey, can you cut me some wood planks so that I have them exactly how I need? And he's like, well, what do you need? And I start explaining it to him a little bit. And he's like, cuts me off and just like, go grab it and bring it back. He's a little bit short. You know what I mean? And I think a long time ago, I would have taken that personally, but I didn't. It went right through me because I'm starting to not take things personally. And I'm starting to understand that everybody's going through their own day to day lives. And I don't have to build these narratives of why he treated me a certain way. And so I went and got my boards and I came back and he was gone. So I had somebody call him and he starts walking up and he kind of firmly and maybe even a little forcefully said, hey, I thought I told you I was going to be back. Again, I stayed calm. I paused for a second and I said, oh, I didn't hear you say that. And I needed to ask the lady a question. So I just had her call you because you weren't here. I wasn't rude. I wasn't overly, overreacting or anything. I just stated clearly what I needed to say. And then from that moment on, we got along great. It was like his whole demeanor shifted because I didn't come at him the way he came at me. I didn't give that reaction. I gave a clear, concise response. And he ended up actually discounting all of my lumber, like 75% off. He said they were warped. And I was like, all right, cool, man. So I was going to pay $75 of wood and I only ended up paying 18. And it just goes to show you that like there's a lot of opportunity out there to interact with people and be ourselves and be our true integrated selves. And when we're not, if I would have reacted wrong to this person or made it some kind of tension, I would have never got that discount. You know what I'm saying? He would have never kind of softened up to me. And so it's about meeting that person that you're avoiding and meeting them cleanly and consciously and not having this emotional charge. So it's just about the reps. It's about growing into who you are, and it's about not avoiding your other half. Like I said, that dragon is not there for you to kill, it's for you to integrate. You got to learn how to ride the dragon. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most worthwhile pursuits. It's a great path, and I've been on it, and I've been going towards that growth edge and jumping over it and jumping into the other side and facing that fear that I have towards these things that I know I must do, because the more and more I avoid that, the more and more shame builds up, that shame inside of yourself. And that's what leads to all of this, you know, it's like leads to addiction. I think it's led to like my drinking in the past. It leads to like kind of losing yourself in video games. You don't pursue the thing within yourself that you know you should, and your body. That's why we get depressed, because we're not being what we truly can be. We're leaving a lot of potential on the table. And when we start pushing past that area of uncomfort, discomfort, and start stepping into it and allowing that to be our new baseline, allowing that to be who we are now, we get this surge of pride and energy and confidence, and we feel whole, and that's really what it's all about, is feeling whole. So don't get lost in this toxic masculinity versus weak men discussion. You don't have to pick a side. It's not about picking a side. It's about becoming whole, truly integrated, as Carl Jung would say. And so we got to face our shadow. I brought my UV shirt out today, and there's a damn dark cloud looming with some storms rolling in. It's beautiful out here today in the Sonoran Desert, and I appreciate you listening to me ramble, listening to these talks. If you have any comments on the issue, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your insight. And I think, I'll say it again. I just think we all need to learn how to be our true selves and not block one half of ourselves. It's not about that. It's about integration, individuation. And so integrate, lift heavy weight, and wash your ass. All right, peace.